Hello everybody and welcome to today's video. I've been MIA for just a little bit over a week now because I had exams, but what better way to celebrate exams than doing a bit of repotting? So that's why I've got my box here today, and I'm going to repot this beautiful melanochrysum that I have. So I got her about not too long ago and I put her in some water, so I followed the Kaylee Ellen guide. And I might do a video about how I went about doing that, and I'm just going to repot this today, so let's get started. I'm also thinking about doing a moss pole, so we'll see if I make that later on after I do this. But yeah, how's everyone doing? I was really stressed earlier because I found scale on my ZZ plant propagations and I freaked out because they're right by my variegated monstera. And I wasn't happy because I was freaking out. My mum was laughing at me because I was stressing out so much, and she said that the way I reacted reminded her of when she first found nits on me as a baby girl. So my reaction was like finding nits on a little baby. So I've got these two pots. They're pretty much the same size, and I think I'm going to use this one just because we're going to be starting off. Let me see what I think. Yeah, that's perfect. Back in water. Right, let's fill this up a little bit. So again, my soil mixture is very airy. It's got orchid bark, perlite in there as well. Just get the bottom of it all covered up. But yeah, how is everyone doing? Comment below if you've got any new plants recently, because I'm just keeping myself really busy with this whole lockdown situation because plants are really helping me, to be honest. Gives me a little something to do. Right, I'm just separating the roots out so that I can... Ugh. This is when I don't prepare well beforehand. So I'm just gonna pour these on top of the roots now. But yeah, so I got this melanochrysum from a new shop that I've never used before, and originally I was worried about using it because there's not many reviews on it at all online. So I've got another plant which I got today from the same shop, and I was thinking of doing a video on my review of this shop so that people kind of know, but they have got like lots of rare plants as well, which I really like because there's not many, and I think they're quite affordable as well. And it's kind of like, it's cool because it's like a backwards auction, so let me know in the description if you'd like me to do that review. And yeah, oh, this isn't looking very like sturdy. I think I need to put it further down. Do I? Oh, I don't like repotting things when I'm like unsure about how much to put them under. This is my first melanochrysum, so I don't want to lose it. Okay, that's looking decent. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to do like a miniature stake for this as well, just because they are climbing plants, and I'm just thinking of doing a little mini moss pole for it just there, which I should have done beforehand, shouldn't I? Oh, I'm being silly now, aren't I? Right, let me get the stuff ready for a moss pole and we'll do that together too. See you in a bit. Okay, so I've got my little piece of kit and I'm just going to lower this camera down. Okay, so you can't see me, but you can see what I'm doing. So I've got these two little stake sticks, which I've cut in half before for a different moss pole because I wanted it to be a bit shorter. And I've got my repotted melanochrysum here. So I'm just going to kind of measure these out on the height that I want them. So I want it about there. So what I'm going to do now is, I'm not going to be too perfect about it, but I'm going to get some fishing line. And I got this whole idea on how to make a moss pole off of a tutorial on YouTube. I'll try and find it online and put a link in the description if I can find it. But this is essentially what I do now. I will do this if I haven't got the ability to go out and get a moss pole, which I obviously can't now, or if I just fancy making one myself. I kind of got worried once when I saw the moss kind of growing its own thing, and I freaked out and thought, oh, what if that overtakes my plant? But I don't think that'll be an issue. I'll move this out of the way now. So this is not going as tight as I wanted it to. Right, let's just start wrapping. So then I wrap this around the two pieces really tight so that they are secured in place. So just keep doing that until you get to the end. I have a tendency to overdo these sort of things. And then once I'm at the end, I'm going to tie a knot with the first knot that I made. And this is a bit fiddly for me, especially when I leave not enough thread to do it with, to be honest with you. So I recommend you just do a little bit more than what I've done thread wise, because it's a bit fiddly. I should get my suture kit out to do this really, shouldn't I? That would be a sturdier way of doing it. There we go. So I'm just going to trim the edges off of that. So now I've got my first base for the support for my moss pole. Right, next thing I'm going to do is, I've got some gardening mesh, and I'm just going to cut a piece of this off that is going to be enough to cover the moss. I didn't used to do this to start off with, and then once I started doing it, the moss stayed in a lot better, because obviously this is going around the moss. You'll see how I do it in a minute. And when I originally did it, I just wrapped the moss with fishing wire, and it just looked messy and the moss would fall off, whereas now with this it makes it a lot more manageable. Right. Okay. I think I made this a little bit too short. As you can see, like, it's not covering the pole, but I'm just going to wind it around quite a few times. So I've got my moss here. Oh, it's really quite damp actually. Put this on the table. So I'm just going to squeeze as much water out of it as I can. This was used for like propagations before, so it was a bit too damp, I think. So again, with my sphagnum moss, I really like to reuse it as much as I can. So all I'm going to do now is lay the moss down. And it's quite messy, but it's quite fun as well. If you want to get some like DIYs to do in lockdown, this is actually quite a fun one to do. And get a bit more up for the top. There we go. So you can see I've got loads of moss there, and I'm just going to kind of cover the top of it as well now with some more moss. Just make sure it's damp and not drenched with water. That's why I'm squeezing out all of the water. It's actually pouring out of this thing. And this might look like a lot of moss. And this might be a bit too much, but when I squeeze it down, I'm hoping it goes down to like quite a manageable size pole, because it's only a small plant. I don't need it to be a beefy pole, really, do I? Okay, so now I've got this, I'm gonna start pulling this around. Normally I do this with someone, but I'm by myself today. Ooh. Twist it up. Okay. So we'll just start rolling. And you just keep going until everything is covered. So, and I'm making it quite tight as well, just so that the moss is staying in there. And you can see, like, this is not a tidy job at all. There is moss everywhere right now. Okay, I'm going to do the top bit by itself later. I just want to cramp this down a bit more, make it a bit tight. I want it to be a nice compact moss pole. There we go. That's looking quite good if I say so myself. My elbow next, I don't want it to unravel, and I'm just going to get some more fishing wire to knot this in place now. I need to do more on the top because I've not managed to quite cover it all, but let's just do one step at a time. And I've allowed myself a bit more string here now. Just doing the knot there. Going to wind it around a little bit as well. And do another knot. Cut that out. So I'm going to go ahead and tidy the top up, which is going to be the same thing. I'm just going to put some moss on there, wrap some more gardening netting on there, and I'll show you the end result. Okay, so here we have it. I've done the top bit there, and we're ready to put it in with my melanochrysum. It's actually quite tall looking at it, but hopefully it'll be just right for it to grow a little bit as well. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to make sure that I'm not damaging any roots when I put this in. So I'm just going to shimmy everything. Actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to redo this. I'm going to put the stick in as well. Give me a lot of you are probably cringing right now, thinking, why are you doing that? You're stressing the plant out. And yes, this is probably stressing the plant out, especially when it's just coming from water. But I would much rather not damage roots that have just been formed and get the plant in nice and secure. Okay, quite pleased with that, so now I'm just going to put the soil back in. So there we have it. I have now staked and repotted my melanochrysum, and what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to water the soil so that the roots don't get too much of a shock, and hopefully we'll have a happy plant. Okay, so that is the end of the video, guys. I've just watered the plant with the water that it was sat in, just so that it has a bit of the normality, basically keeping it as simple as we can. We've got a beautiful moss pole that'll hopefully start climbing now. It's a little bit wobbly and it keeps leaning a little bit, but I'm just going to keep an eye on it and make sure that it is stable enough. The only thing that I do find with the moss poles that we make ourselves is they're not as like sturdy in the pot because they're only on a stick instead of like the little plastic poles that are inside. So if you have any ideas on how to make it more stable, please hit them down in the comments below. But yeah, I hope you are all staying safe and that you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a like and subscribe for more planting content if you want. Bye!